Beloved one, pause here for a moment, because you did not arrive at these words by accident, and the message that is reaching you now is meant for the part of your heart that has been quietly wondering whether your season of waiting will ever come to an end. You have looked at the same circumstances for so long that you have begun to believe they cannot change. You have watched certain doors close, certain plans dissolve, certain people disappear, and certain dreams remain suspended in a space between hope and disappointment. Perhaps you have even stopped asking for the thing you once prayed for because you became tired of hearing your own heart hope for something that never seemed to arrive. But beloved one, what if the silence you have interpreted as an ending has actually been a preparation? What if the door did not close because you were rejected, but because you were being redirected toward an entrance you could not yet see? What if the delay has been protecting you from receiving something before you were ready to recognize its value? I, Archangel Uriel, come to illuminate what has been hidden from your understanding, not by giving you every answer at once, but by helping you see the truth that has been quietly forming within you. You are entering a season where confusion begins to give way to clarity, but the clarity may not arrive as one dramatic revelation. It may come as a series of small realizations that suddenly connect together. You may look back at your life and begin to understand why certain things had to happen the way they did. You may recognize that some disappointments were actually protection. You may realize that some endings created space. You may understand that some people left because their role in your journey had been completed. You may even discover that the dream you thought had been taken from you is still alive, but it needs to take a different form. Beloved one, do not judge your future according to the appearance of your present. The human mind often assumes that what exists today must continue tomorrow. But life is constantly changing beneath the surface. Seeds grow in darkness before anyone sees the green emerging from the soil. Dawn begins before the horizon appears bright. The tide changes before the shoreline notices. And your life can be shifting in ways that have not yet become visible. This is why we ask you to stop measuring your progress only through external evidence. Something important has already changed within you. You are no longer satisfied with illusions. You are no longer willing to remain where your soul feels diminished simply because leaving feels frightening. You are beginning to question what you once accepted without thought. You are becoming sensitive to the difference between peace and familiarity. You are learning that a situation can be familiar and still be wrong for you. You are learning that discomfort does not always mean danger. Sometimes discomfort is the sensation of growth stretching beyond the boundaries of your old identity. Beloved one, there have been moments when you doubted your intuition because the people around you did not see what you saw. You felt something was changing, but there was no visible proof. You sensed that a relationship was no longer aligned, but you could not explain why. You felt drawn toward a new direction, but you could not guarantee where it would lead. You experienced an inner knowing that told you to wait, yet your mind demanded immediate action. This tension between intuition and fear has been one of your deepest lessons. Your intuition does not always shout. It may arrive as a quiet knowing that remains even after the emotional noise settles. Fear often demands urgency. Wisdom can remain patient. Fear says, you must decide now or everything will be lost. Wisdom says, observe. Listen. Allow the truth to reveal itself. Learn this distinction, beloved one. It will protect you as you enter your next chapter. You do not have to rush toward every open door. You do not have to chase every opportunity. You do not have to convince anyone to choose you. What is truly aligned will not require you to betray your deepest values simply to keep it. There is a difference between effort and desperation. Effort is conscious participation. Desperation is the belief that your worth depends upon a particular outcome. You are being freed from desperation now. You are learning to act from self-respect rather than fear. This is one of the most important transformations of your awakening. Beloved one, perhaps you have secretly been afraid that you missed your chance. You think about years that passed and wonder whether your greatest possibilities belonged to another version of you. You remember opportunities you did not take. You remember moments when you were too afraid, too distracted, too uncertain, or too focused on surviving to pursue what your heart wanted. You may look back with regret and say, if only I had known then what I know now. But listen carefully, wisdom is not supposed to arrive before experience. Much of your wisdom was created by the very experiences you wish you could erase. You learned because you lived. You became discerning because you were disappointed. You became stronger because you encountered weakness. You learned boundaries because you discovered what happens without them. You learned self-respect because you experienced what it feels like to abandon yourself for others. Do not despise the road that taught you. You do not need to love every part of your past, but you can honor what it gave you. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. Beloved one, there is still time. There is always another choice available in the present moment. You can change direction. You can learn. You can create. You can apologize. You can forgive. You can begin. You can stop. You can say no. You can say yes. You can return to something meaningful that you once abandoned. Your life is not a prison built from previous decisions. Your past influences you, but it does not possess absolute authority over your future. The moment you become conscious of a pattern, you have already created the possibility of changing it. This is why awareness is so powerful. You cannot transform what you refuse to see. And now you are seeing. You are seeing the habits that drain you. You are seeing the relationships that leave you empty. You are seeing the beliefs that tell you that you are not enough. You are seeing the ways in which fear has disguised itself as practicality. You are seeing how often you have chosen what is familiar over what is meaningful. Do not condemn yourself for this awareness. Celebrate it. Awareness is the first light entering a room that has been dark for a long time. Beloved one, you may also be experiencing a strange loneliness during this transformation. Even when surrounded by people, you may feel as though you are becoming someone they do not yet understand. This can happen when your values change. You begin wanting deeper conversations. You become less interested in appearances. You no longer want relationships based entirely upon convenience. You begin craving authenticity. This can create distance between you and people who were comfortable with the older version of you. Do not be afraid of this space. Solitude can become sacred when it is no longer interpreted as rejection. There is a difference between being alone and being abandoned. Sometimes solitude is where you finally hear your own thoughts without the interference of everyone else's expectations. Sometimes you need a quiet season so that you can discover what you actually want, rather than what you were taught to want. Do not fill every silence immediately. Let some empty space remain. The answers you need may emerge there. Beloved one, the door you thought was closed may be opening in silence because the first thing that must change is not the door, but your ability to recognize it. Imagine if the opportunity you have been asking for arrived yesterday. Would you have recognized it? Would fear have caused you to reject it? Would insecurity have convinced you that you were not qualified? Would you have chosen something familiar simply because it felt safer? Sometimes divine timing is not about withholding the opportunity. It is about preparing your consciousness to recognize and receive it. This is why your inner work matters. Your external future cannot always expand beyond the limitations of your internal beliefs. If you believe you are unworthy, you may push away love. If you believe you are incapable, you may avoid opportunities. If you believe success will make you unsafe, you may unconsciously remain small. If you believe happiness never lasts, you may sabotage peace when it arrives. Bring these beliefs into the light. Ask yourself which beliefs belong to your true nature and which were inherited from painful experiences. You are not required to carry every belief you learned in survival mode into a life built from awareness. Beloved one, there is a version of you that knows how to receive without fear. There is a version of you that can experience love without constantly expecting abandonment. There is a version of you that can experience success without feeling guilty. There is a version of you that can rest without believing you must earn your right to exist. There is a version of you that can be seen without hiding. That version is not imaginary. It is emerging. You may already feel glimpses of it. You may notice yourself responding differently to situations that once triggered you. You may notice that certain comments no longer affect you as deeply. You may notice that you recover faster after disappointment. You may notice that you no longer need to explain your decisions to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. These are signs of inner freedom. Do not overlook them simply because your life is not yet perfect. Beloved one, your awakening is not about becoming someone who never struggles. It is about becoming someone who knows how to return to the light after struggle. You will still have difficult days. You will still question yourself. You will still experience moments when the old fears return. But the difference is that you now have awareness. You can recognize the pattern before it becomes your identity. You can pause before reacting. You can breathe before deciding. You can ask whether the choice you are making comes from love or fear. This pause is sacred. Within that pause, you reclaim your power. Beloved one, I want you to understand something about the future you are approaching. It may require you to leave behind the need for certainty. You have wanted guarantees. You have wanted to know that if you take a particular step, everything will work out exactly as you hope. But no soul receives that kind of guarantee. The path is alive. It responds to your choices. Your future is not a fixed photograph waiting to be revealed. It is a living landscape shaped through consciousness, action, circumstance, timing, and grace. You do not need certainty to move. You need enough trust for the next step. This is why the next step is all that is being revealed. You are being trained to trust movement rather than prediction. If you knew every challenge in advance, you might become overwhelmed. If you knew every blessing in advance, you might become attached. Instead, you are given enough light for today. Use it. Tomorrow will bring its own light. Beloved one, there may be a decision in your life that has been quietly asking for your attention. You know what it is. Perhaps you have avoided naming it because naming it would require action. Perhaps you already know what your heart wants, but you are afraid of what will happen if you follow it. Do not confuse fear with a warning automatically. Sometimes fear appears precisely because something matters. Ask yourself, if I knew I could not fail, what would I begin? If I knew I would be supported, what would I release? If I trusted myself completely, what would I choose? You do not have to act impulsively. But listen to the answers. They may reveal where your soul wants your attention. Beloved one, there are doors that close because they are not yours, and there are doors that close temporarily because the timing is not yet right. Your task is not to force every door open. Your task is to remain awake enough to recognize which doors deserve your energy. Sometimes the right door opens quietly. It may not be dramatic. It may not come with fireworks. It may simply feel like peace. A conversation becomes easier. An opportunity feels natural. A relationship feels reciprocal. A path begins to make sense. Your nervous system relaxes instead of constantly preparing for battle. Pay attention to peace. Not every peaceful opportunity will be your destiny, but true alignment often carries a quality of inner spaciousness. You do not have to become smaller to fit inside it. Beloved one, release the belief that your life must look impressive to be meaningful. Some of your greatest transformations may never be visible on social media. They may happen in private. You may simply become kinder, wiser, calmer, more honest. You may stop repeating a family pattern. You may choose patience where someone before you chose anger. You may teach another person what you once needed to learn alone. These are sacred accomplishments. The soul does not measure success only through possessions or recognition. It measures the depth of consciousness you bring into your existence. Beloved one, if you are hearing these words while feeling uncertain about your future, let this be your reassurance: uncertainty is not the same as failure. You are allowed not to know. You are allowed to be between chapters. You are allowed to have more questions than answers. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to discover that what you wanted years ago is no longer what you want today. Your awakening gives you permission to become more authentic. Do not cling to an old dream simply because you once called it your destiny. Sometimes the soul evolves, and the dream evolves with it. Beloved one, tonight, place your hand upon your heart and breathe slowly. Say within yourself, I release my need to understand everything. I trust the light that reveals only what I need for the next step. I release the fear that closed doors mean I am forgotten. I trust that what is aligned will reveal itself in the right way and at the right time. I am willing to walk forward. Then rest. You do not need to solve your entire future tonight. Let your mind become quiet. Let your heart soften. Let the unseen work continue. There are things moving beyond your awareness. There are connections forming. There are lessons completing. There are possibilities waiting for the right moment. You do not need to force them into existence. Your role is to remain awake, willing, discerning, and courageous. Beloved one, the door you thought was closed may not announce itself when it opens. It may arrive as an invitation you almost ignore. It may appear as a small opportunity. It may come through someone you did not expect. It may begin with a simple idea. Do not dismiss beginnings because they are small. Great chapters often begin quietly. The seed does not resemble the tree. The first brush stroke does not resemble the painting. The first step does not resemble the destination. Trust beginnings. Trust small movements. Trust the inner shift that tells you something is changing. I, Archangel Uriel, bring you the light of wisdom and illumination so that you may see beyond appearances. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not standing at the end of your possibilities. You are standing at a threshold. The old chapter has taught you what it needed to teach. The next chapter is asking you to bring that wisdom forward without carrying the weight of the old pain. Leave the fear behind. Carry the lesson. Leave the shame behind. Carry the wisdom. Leave the resentment behind. Carry the discernment. Leave the need for certainty behind. Carry your trust. And walk. The door is opening, beloved one, not with noise, not with force, but with the quiet certainty of something that has been preparing for you all along. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel the change. Trust that feeling. The light is returning to the places where you once felt lost, and the path ahead is becoming visible one step at a time. Do not turn back simply because the future is unfamiliar. The unfamiliar is where new possibilities live. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward knowing that what is truly aligned with your soul will not require you to abandon yourself. The door you thought was closed is opening in silence, and when you finally step through it, you may realize that the waiting was not wasted. It was the sacred preparation that taught you how to recognize the doorway when it appeared.